Hey, you guys, I have so many things to talk to you about. It is June 18th, 2013, and it's been a little while since I've talked to you, about over 2 weeks, I think. So, the last time I was on here, I had my epiphany that I didn't want to do what the doctors told me to, which is atypical for me. I'm stubborn, and if you tell me what to do, I'm going to say, I think I can find a better way to do it. And I'm hoping that this is the right choice, and I'm not going to second guess myself. I'm just going for it. At that point in time, I wasn't able to get a hold of anyone for thyroid medication. My guy was on vacation. My radiation oncologist didn't do anything about that. My surgeon didn't handle that. So I kind of waited and waited. And then they got back to me and said, well, why aren't you doing the RAI? And I just kind of told them it was a personal decision. I didn't want to do it. And I'd talk with them at another point when the endo was back. And they said they'd get the message to them. And they called me a day or so later and were like, how much do you weigh? Oh, okay. Well, then we're going to give you a prescription for Synthroid. And where do you want to go get it? And I was like, wait a second. So you're just going to pick this out of a hat and, decide what kind of thyroid medication I get? It was weird to me. So 100 micrograms of Synthroid, and take it in the morning on an empty stomach. Drink an entire 8-ounce glass of water with it. Don't eat for an hour, and then don't take any additional vitamins or supplements for another 4 hours. Are you kidding me? Do you know my schedule? You want me to do what? So I was a good girl, and I went and I got my prescription, and I took it every morning, except in the meantime, I had researched natural desiccated thyroid or nature thyroid or NDT or whatever you want to call it. And I found a doctor in Alaska who will prescribe it, and I set an appointment with them. So I was on Synthroid for 5 days, 100 micrograms. I was still having a hard time sleeping. Hands were frigid ice cubes. And it has been the weirdest thing. I live in Alaska, and we had record-setting temperatures. It was like 94 degrees the other day. It's crazy. I haven't even seen my boyfriend. He's out fighting fires. I forget what he looks like. So my hands were cold, and it was 90 degrees. Kind of crazy. I was having a hard time sleeping and all that good stuff. So I went to this doctor. He, of course, didn't bill insurance, so I had to pay out of pocket. But it was worth it because the man was amazing and smart and listened to me and had a great deal of information. And so I started this new regimen. We are going to do a natural killer cell assay or lab test. Natural killers are critical for your innate immune system. They're also really important in an adaptive immune system. So we're going to see if I have those, and if I do have them, if they're working. It's also known as a potential cancer therapy. It's not like a big thing in the medical field, but it is known to have potential. 4 days. Today is the 4th day that I took my nature thyroid, and for a little bit today my hands were cold, but it was towards the end of the day, and I had a long day at work, and I was grumpy, and my hands were a little cold. Right now they feel great and fine, and I'm happy. I'm happy I made that switch from Synthroid to nature thyroid just because it's got everything in it that Synthroid doesn't, that my thyroid made in the first place. So I think that was a good decision for me. Also, I started a ketogenic diet. What is a ketogenic diet? Well, it's not the best thing in the world, especially for someone who loves food, especially for an Italian who loves carbohydrates, because ketogenic is a low sugar, low protein, low carbohydrate, low glucose diet because cancer is hungry for glucose. Glucose is what feeds cancer. So what do I want to do? Starve cancer. I want to kill my cancer. So I'm not going to give it glucose. So I got to buck up and do this right. So I am doing this high in fats. I'm allowed to have olive oil and avocados and coconut oil and almond butter and fruits and vegetables and seeds because I'm a bird, right? Anyway, that's going to be tough on me. Not as tough as the low iodine diet. Oh my gosh. I'm thankful that I didn't do the second week of that. But so I'm starving cancer because cancer can only survive with glucose. All of the cells in your body use glucose to live, but there's a malformation or cancer cells have something wrong with them to where they can't switch over and use the other energy. If I starve my body of glucose, the rest of the cells use ketones for energy and to fuel them. But cancer doesn't know how to make that switch, and it in turn dies. So we're going to try that out, see how it works. What else am I doing? I am taking some supplements, a few different things. B12 basically turns fat into energy. Everybody can use B12. D3, vitamin D. I'm in Alaska, and right now I'm getting good sun, so my vitamin D is probably good, but typically I don't. And now that I don't have a thyroid, I'm not getting that. Iodine. 1 dropper of iodine in a shot glass of juice or water a day. That is kind of playing with fire because they say iodine is really great for thyroid health. So I don't know. We're going to see. I'm only doing 1 dropper. It could be more. I don't want to grow more thyroid cells and then the cancer say, yay, that's what I like. We're going to live there. So we're going to follow my labs and my thyroglobulin tests and see how that goes. Speaking of thyroglobulin, I did a blood draw on the 23rd, my first day when I saw that Nuke Med doc. He drew my blood. They still haven't gotten my labs back yet. I called yesterday to check to see what the heck was going on. They're like, oh, we sent him out on that same day. So basically Alaska's lame. Don't move here. I'm only saying that because I don't want any more visitors. Alaska's great the way it is. No, I'm kidding. So the iodine, that's going to be interesting. But turmeric. Turmeric is a big one. Turmeric is an herb. I mean, you use turmeric in curry if you wanted to make some Indian food. But turmeric is kind of like, what is the word? It's a secret. It's a secret for apoptosis. I know I'm not saying that right, so Google it, you'll find it. But our cells in our body can die 2 different ways. Necrosis, which means it was hurt and it died, or apoptosis, which means it was its programmed cell death. The mutation of cancer not only can't use ketones and only glucose to live, doesn't have that natural apoptosis that regular cells do, which is the programmed cell death. You get cells, they grow, they live, they die, they regenerate. But cancer just is this mutated, gross thing that just keeps growing and doesn't die. So turmeric induces that, triggers that self-destruction of a cell. And we're going to see about killing those cancer cells. I'm doing it pretty aggressively right now. I'm taking 2 capsules 3 times a day. We'll see how it goes. Can't promise you anything. I could be dead next week, but so could you. So what you gonna do? Well, that other thing that I'm doing is raising my alkalinity and lowering my acidity, because cancer is known to prosper and live in a more acidic uh, area, whatever you want to call that. So I've got to test my pH and make sure that it's more alkaline than acidic, which also means cutting down on coffee and things like that. And the weirdest things make you alkaline. You wouldn't think, like apple cider vinegar. I've been having to drink apple cider vinegar, which you'd think, ew, gross, acidic, but no, it is like the opposite. It makes the alkalinity raise. So that's kind of crazy. So you'll want to look into that if this is something that you wanted to do. So I'm going to go back to this naturopath doctor, and he'll do labs and whatnot in about 2-3 weeks, which is encouraging. I like that, because the endocrinologist that left me a message said, here's Thyroid, come see me in 3 months. I'm like, well, God, would I have had to live with my non-sleeping cold self for 3 months before they would have done anything? I don't know. He was a good guy, and he really helped me out in the beginning to decide, the biopsy and whatnot, but I'm glad that I kind of made this switch. It's lame that he doesn't bill my insurance, but I'll bill it myself and get reimbursed. So anyway, I am 5.5 weeks post total thyroidectomy, and oh, scar, can you see it? Not too shabby, right? I can live with it. I've been putting 70 SPF on it so that it doesn't get all crazy and burnt, and heals well. But I'm rocking it, whatever. I've had a ton of questions about it. The other day, a patient at my work said, oh, if you just did it all the way across, you'd have a great necklace. I'm like, are you kidding me, crazy lady? And just today in the elevator, man asked me if I had a trach, because he had one too, and he lifted his giant beard up to show me his trach scar. So if anything, it's a good conversation starter. A good friend of mine owns a bar out here, and I saw him the other day, and he asked me about it, and I told him, I had thyroid cancer, and I had it removed, and I had known a little bit about his wife, but not in too much detail, and his wife actually died of thyroid cancer, but it was the most aggressive of them, and I can't think of the name right now. It starts with a A. I'll have to get back with you on that, but they told her she had 12 months to live, and she lived 14. Left behind a really good husband and a beautiful daughter who's now grown up and has a son of her own, but it's just crazy. Crazy how things are and what people do, and this is what I'm doing. So I juiced my dinner tonight, and it was delicious, but I'm actually pretty darn hungry right now. So I'm going to get ready for bed, because I have to work in the morning, and so I don't eat my arm, because I'm still getting used to this whole you get veggies for dinner thing. So this was a really long blog, and I'm sorry I made you guys wait so long, but again, thanks for hanging out and for following, and I hope you have a great day, and talk to you later.